My background, where I grew up, was quite good. Actually, both my parents were in the church when I was born, so I was in the church from a young age. They were both actually assistants at the time that I was born. Growing up, I didn't follow the same path. I didn't really follow what was the advice that was given, the messages that was passed. What happened was I developed like anger issues toward my parents, and it wasn't because of anything in particular. I didn't like that they were in the church, and we used to have arguments at home. We used to have deep problems. I used to break like my walls, things that we had, vases, the TV, anything that when I used to get angry, that's what used to happen. I was involved with pornography and masturbation. I became addicted to it actually because I was so empty, because I was so angry. I started getting addicted. Many different girlfriends, many different people that I would talk to just for the sake of feeling that emptiness, that anger, that void that was inside of me. There was a day, I believe I came home late. My mum, she was asking me where I had been, but I was angry toward her. I didn't want to tell her where I'd been. I didn't know why she was asking me, so much so that I almost got to the point where I almost punched my mum in the face, but my dad got in the way, so I couldn't reach her. And that was the worst day, because after that day I realized that I'd come so far in being an angry person, having grudges, in a deep hatred towards them, that I'd almost laid hands on the woman that had birthed me. That was one of the worst days of my life. During all this was going on, I was still in the church, so I was still attending the services, but I didn't take anything seriously. And I realized that I've been in the church for 18 years, that's more than anybody can say. There was nothing wrong with my upbringing. I didn't have a bad upbringing, a bad growth. Why would I not decide to change my life? At that point, I had nothing left. And so after that meeting, that was when I decided that I needed to change. Based off the fact that I'd been in the church, I knew what the Holy Spirit was. I didn't doubt that it existed. I didn't see it for myself. I didn't take it seriously until the 21 days. I literally gave my all. I literally gave everything that I had. I gave my understanding, all the grudges, the anger, the emotions, every single thing, the depression, every single thing that was working like inside of me. Me speaking to my parents, going to tell them what was wrong with me, having an understanding with them, cutting off the girls that I was speaking to, cutting off the pornography, not just 1 day or 2 days, but really pushing myself to understand what it meant to cut off that pornography, that addiction, because I was really addicted to pornography, really addicted to masturbation. It wasn't like in 1 day, overnight, but it took the 21 days, like it took me taking it seriously. I had to make sure that I cut off every single thing, every link that led me back to the world. Even if it was one link that was led, friends, no matter what it was, I had to cut it off. After leaving all of those things behind, I was seeking, I was reading my Bible more, because I had to fill myself with His presence. I had to fill myself with His things so that I could change my life. So after that, and what had happened was, at the time, the pastor said, embrace the person that is next to you. I don't know who the person was, but all I can remember in that moment was clarity. And that was something that I never had in my mind, I never had in my heart, I never had any of that. I never had any sort of clarity. That day I embraced the person that was next to me. I don't remember who they was, but all I know is that moment I received the Holy Spirit. Just a stillness, a calmness, and it wasn't an emotion, there wasn't a crying, there wasn't tears. It was simply the understanding that the Holy Spirit has come upon me. And the reason that the Holy Spirit has come upon me is because I have nothing left to do with this world. All I wanted was Him. So in that moment, to have that happiness, to have that clarity, to have that joy, to genuinely feel joy, not temporary happiness, no, it was real joy, like it was real happiness. Today I'm happy. I always have a smile on my face. I'm always happy. I don't have a bad relationship with my parents. My parents are literally, I always speak to them. I have a great relationship with my dad, with my mom. I don't have any grudges. My brother is like my best friend. I don't have any addictions to pornography, masturbation. I'm clear-minded. Now that I'm in a position to help younger people who are in the situation that I was in, who are even in different situations, I'm able to help them. My name is Gideon, and I received the Holy Spirit during the fast of Daniel.